food must never be eaten alone. The first memories we have about food was always with family. The most celebration, the most joyousness, the most happiness you find is always when you're eating not alone, but with somebody, especially when you're preparing something for people you love. And so for me, food and groups are inextricably bound together. I have real difficulty eating by myself. I look at something like sushi and I go, and I teach this in my classes. You know, sushi comes from way back from the Mekong Delta, and as it moves through mainland China and then down through Korea and then across the Yellow Sea into Japan, it undergoes a number of innovations. But sushi's been around for a very long time before it ever went to Japan. I see people now looking at a fudomaki and looking at sushi and almost going back. There's very little that you can actually go forward. The great Japanese sushi chefs in Japan, they're very, very conservative, right? Their stuff is very traditional and they harken back to a deep and meaningful connection to sushi's history in Japan. And I think now it's time that we move further back into history. And by way of doing that, you're gonna see the way, especially Koreans, but sometimes the Chinese and possibly Vietnamese, Cambodians dealt with sushi as they knew it. So I see a big trend in Korean style sushi. It's called kimbap, making headway in the next couple of years. What I feel like I'm doing now in my restaurant business is I'm going back. I'm going back to that period of time when I loved food, and food meant family, and it meant love, and it meant joy, and all of those things. And that means for me that I have to go back to Korean cuisine, because that's what I was nourished on. My stories are very Korean as well, right? And like my best stories are about that spectacle, that collision that happens between my being Korean and living in Canada. I can train you on anything. I can train you on any food product, any beverage product. I can train you on French service, Russian service, Korean service. But the one thing that you can't train, and this is a truism, is you can't train values, you can't train character. Like something has had to happen over the course of your life to get you into this moment right now where I can say to you, you have what it takes. And you may have no restaurant experience, and I will teach you all of those, but you have that core thing. So, and why is that important? Because I know that when that person interacts with my guests, they're more interested in them than in themselves. How can you, in that moment, reflect your own promise of character change and character development to give them this feeling that they're right? And the guest will appreciate you for it the next day when they sober up. And that's how you get return customers. Remove your ego.